Okay, good evening, everyone. This is the Auburn School Committee meeting for October 4th, 2023. This meeting is being recorded by the Auburn Cable Television, and if we could all stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, welcome, everyone. There's a lot of happy faces in the crowd tonight. Turn it over to you, Meg.
Yes, our vision. The vision of the Auburn Public Schools is to educate and prepare students for the opportunities and challenges of a changing world. We will create, maintain, and support an environment that fosters a sense of belonging for all students in our schools, respecting race, color, sex, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, homelessness, poverty, spoken language, and ability.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any citizens here to comment tonight? Seeing none? Okay, we'll move on to some fun stuff. Special recognitions.
Thank you. So we have two special recognitions this evening. The first one kind of harks back to one of our previous meetings. I just wanted to point out that today at Auburn Youth and Family Services, the Rise, Evolve, and Encore programs was selected to receive the 2023 Auburn Children's Friend Award by the AYFS Board of Directors. This award is based on the work the students and staff in these programs have done to support the distribution of food and clothing by AYFS to the community, while also helping to maintain the cleanliness of the Auburn Youth and Family facility. So it was a great morning all around. So that was a great day for that. And we've had those associates in to see us recently, so it was great. But the big event for tonight are the folks that are here from Auburn Middle School. They've recently received the National Banner Recognition from Special Olympics North America. And they've done so because they've achieved national standards of excellence in the areas of inclusion, advocacy, and respect. So I'm going to, at this point, turn this over to Mr. Desto to kick us off. I do want to say that they are only one of 22 schools in Massachusetts that have achieved this recognition. So, Mr. Desto, did you want to get up and say a few words?
Thank you. It's had to be Mr. Keller. For when her students come to present.
Good evening, everybody. And I normally, of my many weaknesses, finding words is not usually one of them. But for tonight, I actually struggled to figure out exactly what to say. And I know that I'm not the one people want to see. And so I thought maybe what we would do is I'd just say a few words about the program and about this recognition, and then we could show the video, and then maybe after that I could I'll also introduce everybody who's here first, and then we could do my thanks, because my speech started to look like a award, like a Academy Awards thing, because there's so many people involved in this. But I think the first thing that started kind of humorously was when the letter was addressed to Principal Grimm. And apparently this guy, Matt Grimm, not me, is the principal of Auburn Middle School in Illinois. And they were also chosen. So there were two Auburn Middle Schools across the country who were chosen. Eventually they did get my name right. And I just want to read a quick couple of lines from the letter it came from, her name is Patty Doherty. She's the Vice President of Schools and Community Partnerships for the Special Olympics. And it said, "Congratulations to Auburn Middle School for receiving National Banner Recognition from Special Olympics North America. Your school has successfully achieved national standards of excellence in the areas of inclusion, advocacy, and respect. The athletes, partners, students, coaches, volunteers, teachers, staff, and administration at Auburn Middle School have all played key roles in creating a social climate where everyone feels included and respected for who they are." Truly, like, from the heart, if you ask me, a stranger asked me what's the best three things about our school and even about our district, this certainly is going to be one of them, and it may even be number one. It's something that we're really proud of. I'd like to introduce the people who came with us tonight, some of the stars of the team. I will begin with Jeremiah Long. Welcome, Jeremiah. We're so glad you could make it tonight. Jeremiah is a man of few words, but when he speaks, it means something. And he had a great line when he found out about this. He said, Wait a minute, I don't go to school at night. So thank you, Jeremiah. Also, we have with us Avery Charest. Thank you so much for coming, Avery. Oh, is over here. Hi, Alyssa. Welcome. Born in the back.
Maybe
Hi,
stand
Hunter.
up, just take a quick stand up so we can see this, Hunter.
We also have Anthony Crossman. Hi, Anthony. And I don't know if it'll be on the video, but he has perfect form. Perfect form. And his brother, Jack Crossman. Hi, Jack. Was happy to be here because he asks me often if we're going to be able to have a snow day, and I always say that I'll ask Dr. Chamberlain, and now you can ask her yourself later on if you want to. Okay. Also, I want to thank the adults that are here who really are the key people in our program. First, Mr. Clark, who's just, what can I say? He's one of the MVPs of our school, and I like to mess with him, but in this setting, he's really one of the best. Also, Mrs. Nordman was unable to make it. Was Mrs. Nordman? She wasn't able to make it, but she's the other director of the Rockets to Rockets program. And our unified sports coaches, Mrs. Shanko, Alan Shanko, below, and they somehow coached our team to an undefeated season, even though Miss Lowe once asked one of the players to get off the field when we were playing in a basketball court. So we're grateful for all of you and for everybody being here. And I think it's important also to recognize Greg Walton, whose leadership from the top of the department has been outstanding, and Rosemary Reedy before him. It's really a strength for our district all the way around. Okay. Here or somewhere else?
Mr. Keller should be able to take care of that. We'll see.
Should I shut the lights or anything? No.
Let's see once it gets done.
Look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I wouldn't did it. W's only, I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, I've been on it. What?
What is your feelings unified? Think about unified schools and rockets to rockets. My favorite thing is the fact that we get to spend time with people we don't always see during the school day, and how much fun we have together whenever we feel like put a smile on their face.
What is your favorite thing about AMS?
My favorite thing about AMS is Rockets to Rockets because of how inclusive it is. Say what? What made you get involved with Unified Sports and Rockets to Rockets? I like Rockets to Rockets because we get to do lots of fun activities with Anna and everybody else in Rockets to Rockets. And I like Unified Sports because Anna gets the same opportunities as me and Bella, and it's fun. What's your favorite thing about Unified Basketball?
I shoot the hoop. And my friend wants to play.
Tell Auburn one thing about our Unified program.
About our Unified program is that we get to make a difference and then see our difference.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got trouble, and I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We stick together, see it through, 'cause you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, big and stronger too, maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. It's me and you, boy, and as the years go by, a friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Wow. Good shot.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. You wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
Every now and then we find a special friend who never lets us down.
I mean, that's still pretty good.
Who understands it all, reaches out each time we fall. You're the best friend that I found. I know you can't stay. Part of you will never ever go away. Your heart will stay. I'll make a wish for you and hope it will come true. That life will just be kind to such a gentle man.
YouTube is the new home of NFL Sunday Ticket. Watch all your favorite NFL teams' out-of-market Sunday afternoon games all season long. Now on YouTube and YouTube TV.
Can you minimize the screen? Yeah.
Sign up now. Terms and embargoes apply.
We need to get that, Mr.
I think maybe the screen, the little, right, yeah. Oh, no. Yep.
The little green.
There we go. We're back.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you to Mrs. Schenkel, Mrs. Lowe, and everybody who had a hand, Mr. Clark, in putting that together. Really kind of gives you a taste of for what it is. And Dr. Chamberlain mentioned earlier that we're one of only 22 schools in Massachusetts and 205 nationwide who got this honor, but we were one of only 3 middle schools in Massachusetts. So we're really proud of that we're starting at a younger level, and that's because of the culture of this district, and you should all be very proud of that because it starts at the top, and you know, you have created a culture where that can happen. Obviously, just want to reiterate how proud I am of our entire school community, the way our students and our entire staff get behind this program. But I want to end by thanking two folks, and that is, first of all, the families of our students who make a great commitment, and really mostly for entrusting their children to us every day, because they're one of the great blessings that we have at our school, and they are one of the reasons, as you can see here, why it's just a very uplifting. It's very uplifting to see them come in every day with such a good attitude, and then finally the students themselves who are participating in the program, both the partners and the athletes, who just do a remarkable job. I watch and I'm humbled because they do things that I don't even know if I could do. It's really quite remarkable. And so just very proud of everybody. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this great program. And we don't have the details yet, but we know we're going to have a party at the school at some point, and we'll invite all of you to the party. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, and congratulations to you all.
Stay put, and then we can get a picture
Yeah,
with you
could we
guys
pop
real
in and
quick.
get a picture? We'll stand behind you. Somebody can take it from this side. Is that all right, Mandy?
Like, I am not dressed for a picture
Push
today.
in on the side.
It's not picture day. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's just gonna be easier to.
I'm not gonna go. I've been going since 5:30.
Yep.
Nice work. Congratulations.
Good job.
Nice job, everyone.
Great job.
Great job.
Thank you so much. Hi, nice to see you.
It's the music. No, it's not even that. It's like seeing like kids and my sister. No, I know.
Good job, buddy.
Good job, guys. That was awesome. Congratulations.
Nice work. Very nice. James. Love it. You're all set for the best.
I mean, they're already better
Yeah, I
than me.
got it. So we're good. Don't.
Better practice. They practice more than I do.
Sure, yeah. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
That's awesome.
Now let's ruin it with something really
Yeah,
boring.
down to business.
I know.
What a great group. Wow. This
Really are.
This district is great. It's wonderful
We have
to
some
see
wonderful people.
that. Yep. All right. Let's move on to accepting the minutes from 8:23, 9:06, and 9:20.
I'll make a motion to, accept the minutes from 8:23, 9:06, and 9:20.
Second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Vote. We don't have our student reps tonight. We do have our superintendent though, so I'll turn it over to you.
I am here, thank you. So the first item in your packet are the beginning of the year transition surveys. So if you recall, a couple of meetings ago, we had decided that we were going to survey at the elementary level our families and our teachers related to some of the things that go into transitioning students from one year to the next. And so the surveys are here. You'll see it goes K to 2 families, K to 2 teachers, 3 to 5 families, and then 3 to 5 teachers. I'll just go through a few of the highlights, and then if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. One of the trends for both families and teachers, K through 5, was that they preferred having step-up day, where the students got to meet their teacher prior to leaving for the summer. So it normally happened the day before the last day of school, that they would see who was in their class and do that. So that was pretty resounding. The other thing that was consistent for families and teachers was that they like to learn the name of their child's teacher when they get the report card at the end of the year. So that typically goes home on the last day, and that was the preferred mode of learning that. In the K to 2 families, they really liked the access to the classroom the day before school began. So this year we did it on that Tuesday before the first day, that they could go to the classroom, bring in supplies, they could meet the teacher quickly. There were no presentations or anything like that. It was more of an open house. So the families liked that. Some of the families expressed that they missed curriculum night. We used to have a curriculum night, K to 2, where that was really just for parents, that they would come in and they would hear this from the teacher about homework requirements and what the regular day looked like and that kind of thing. So I think that's something we have to kind of look back at again. even though at 3 to 5 they had a Know Your School night this year. So that happened not the first partial week. Well, I guess it was the first right after Labor Day, that week after Labor Day. So it wasn't a full week, but that week, that was resoundingly well received. They loved it because it was families and kids. So it wasn't just the parents coming for a PowerPoint. So I think that's something we may want to think about. I'm trying to read my notes. I can't read them. Oh, the scavenger hunt. So grades 3 to 5 had a scavenger hunt that week before school began. That was all outside. The kids didn't go into the building. That was okay. That was okay. But a lot of people couldn't attend. I don't know if was because of the day, but a lot of people just responded that they didn't attend the event at all. So I'm not sure about that one. K-2 teachers felt that allowing kids to come into their classroom the day before school began was helpful for the kids, but they found it difficult to prepare and have everything ready to receive the students then. And again, these are just trends. I looked at what I seemed to hear the most. And then a couple of teachers in grades 3 to 5 suggested that we do a similar survey for grades 6 through 12, right, related to transitions and what kids at that level might need. So that's easily done, and certainly might make some sense as well. But I don't know if anything stuck out to you. I know some of these were a little bit hard to, it doesn't always list the whole statement when you look at the little graphs. So I don't know if you had any questions about that, but those were the big things. I think overall there was a lot of really positive feedback about all the effort we put into helping kids transition. The meetings that they have at the primary level were very well received for families and all of that. So I don't know if you have any questions.
All right, any questions or comments?
Through the chair, I just want to say that I love that we do these surveys. It shows that we really care about our teachers, our students, and our families, and to take all that into consideration. So I thank you for doing all that because it's awesome.
And I think that's the key here, is that we have to take this into consideration, right? So now I think this is going to be some conversations at the schools with the principals and how we're going to move forward and what we might do next. But I think it gives us some really good information to work from.
And this is the best way to get the information.
Yeah, and we didn't have but 145 responses K-2. That's not terrible. And 156 or 158 at Swanson for families. So not too bad. You always wish for more, but it wasn't too bad. So
Well, at least the option was there.
correct, absolutely correct. I left it open for quite a while, actually, just up in even till Monday. People could have responded. So
Through the chair, was there a reason why we stopped doing curriculum night?
well,
COVID? Was it a COVID death?
Mrs. Stanek.
oh sorry. Oh, go ahead, Mrs. Stanek.
Yeah, please, yeah.
So we had talked about that, and in the last few years, we have not had the attendance at the curriculum nights, and we wanted to think about a way to have more of a family event. So we've added another family event where families can come in with the students. So both at Bryn Mawr and at Packagug, we will have a literacy night and we will also have a STEAM night. So that way those are two other events, and those events, typically literacy night is huge and well attended, and that way they can come in and do some fun activities and learning activities with our students. But the attendance for curriculum night was really dwindling, and we feel that we could send that information to families pretty easily as to, the curriculum and the homework and those things.
Yeah, through the chair, I feel like I got a lot of that information. I was just curious if it was like just the reasoning behind it. But I mean, that's a lot of nights back. Like if you do a literacy night and then you do a STEM night and then you do a curriculum night and then you know school night, it's a lot for the staff. So it's just
it's spread over the course of the year, and it's contractual.
Contractual. We can only
the
do
evenings that they attend. Yeah.
So, but I mean, all that curriculum stuff, like I felt like my daughter's teacher told me, like put it out there, like this is the math book we're using here, we're sending it home, like.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the curriculum is necessary. Like there's a few comments on it, but but those might have been the few that came.
And I think too, those might have been in the K-2 survey. Those families are new to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as the kids go through, they get a little bit more used to what the expectation is.
Yeah.
Say through the chair, going through many curriculum nights over the last how many years. It can get a little bit repetitive after every year because every year is about the same. And it was so neat to see my kids in the school at night so soon to interact with their teachers. And although it scared me that so many specialists already knew my son's name, it was really good to just see how comfortable they were. So I did kind of like that. So I think, changing it up is not necessarily a bad thing for that.
I agree. We got to change with the times, and make it work for families and staff.
Absolutely.
So good things on the horizon then. So when do you think those surveys will go out for grade 6 and up?
So I'm going to want to speak to Mr. Desto and Mr. DeLongchamp to make sure that I have their events and their plans in place. But I would say in the next couple of weeks I could get it out. The forms are super easy to make. It's just making sure you have the right question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm curious how their curriculum nights went, and how they were attended. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the high schools is tonight, so.
It is.
Oh,
is it?
Yes. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Through
My
the chair
husband's
later
at it.
on this year, can we get an update on our plan for transition?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Really quick through the chair, this is communicated by email, text message, a QR code. Because I'm new to this, I've never done this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I sent out a link to
Yeah.
families.
Okay.
And then they go in and it's a very simple electronic form that they fill out. And then then it produces these results for me.
Yeah. Do you think that you could text it to them? Because we have young parents that don't necessarily check their email ever. I'm not speaking for myself, maybe.
Yeah.
Because if the
They
link
can
comes
open
on
it on their, like it's easily, you can open it very easily
Yeah.
on your phone. I just don't know if I can send the link in a text messages I can send, but they're limited with what you can put in there.
Yeah.
So I'd have to look into that.
Okay. Because I know with the PTO, they had a QRS code, and I just went click, and now Roland is registered. I can send it to the grandparents and the aunts and the uncles,
Yep.
and it's a text message, and it's a second, and it was just that was very easy so far.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay.
just to,
We can certainly look into making it easier. I will tell you though, getting responses is forever a challenge.
That's true.
I do the graduate surveys at Quinsig.
Forever a challenge.
I agree.
20%?
No, we get 78.
Oh, wow.
I'm persuasive.
All right. So that's some good information, and we'll follow up with that. And
I'm
it's a
just
good
new
idea.
too, so I'm
Yeah.
I'm very green with you guys are like, oh, my son this, and
Yeah.
where I'm like, you did what?
It took us
This
like
is-
5 years to get Unipay in place, so I'm not sure.
Sometimes we're a little
moving
slow.
fast.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely look into it. All right, great. Well, that's good stuff then, and I look forward to more information.
Great. All right, the next item is, it's a little bit ahead of the times, but normally we'll start looking at a new calendar for the school year, like right in January, fairly after the start of the year. But we are already in the process of trying to plan some professional development for next fall with a very dynamic speaker who books out some time ahead. And so what I'm asking for this coming November, we will have a presidential election day. Historically, that has been a professional development day for the district, so that we don't have to have students in the high school when there are a lot of people there voting. And so what I'm looking for is the committee that you designate Tuesday, November 5th, 2024 as a full professional development day for staff. We'll be able to get our presenter, and then that will just get incorporated to whatever calendars I present to you in January. It'll already be designated as a professional development day. So
Great. Yeah, fantastic.
All right. Can I get a motion?
You go. I'll make a motion to designate Tuesday, November 5th, 2024 as a full professional development day for staff.
Second.
Any questions or comments? I have a comment, just that get the kids out of the way because it's a crazy day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
right.
think it's a good idea. And we're moving the staff to a different school.
correct. The PD will take place at the middle school.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we'll all be at the middle school.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All righty.
Thank you. Also in your packet, and really just for information this evening, but we will return to this perhaps at our next meeting or the one following, you'll find a copy of the Comprehensive Health and Physical Education Framework recently released by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Our staff, the principals, and Mr. Keller are currently reviewing the new framework for implementation with Auburn. As with all frameworks, we carefully review not only the materials that it will use to support the teaching of the topics, but also the content in the framework itself to ensure it supports the strategic plan and the goals of the Auburn Public Schools. So I didn't know if anyone had any questions about this, but again, I thought there's a lot in it, so I didn't know if we just bring it back at another meeting to revisit.
Yeah, sure. I was able to get through most of it. I did skim through the entire thing. There's nothing groundbreaking here. I mean, nothing really controversial or anything. And I know you and I had talked about it. If they had started this pre-COVID, we would be in a different place right now. So there's a lot of information in there teaching kids how to care for themselves and, how to react to situations when they feel threatened. And yeah. So
mental health care.
Yeah, a big
absolutely.
focus on
The
mental
big
health.
things that contribute to that. Its connection to physical activity, and all of those things. So I
Yes,
do
and-
think. I mean, it was a long time coming. When was the last one done?
99.
Yeah, 19.
Wow,
Yeah.
long time.
That's crazy.
It is.
Doesn't
Crazy.
feel like a long time, but it's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
The other day.
And I would say there were some hot topics in there considering, the sexual education and all of that. We will handle that as a district and we'll do it eloquently in the correct way. And parents can always opt out too. And they will have that option.
We'll have that option to opt out, much like at fifth grade at Swanson Road. They've for many years now they've taught puberty, and students are always given families are given the opportunity to opt their child out. They're given another activity, and we're very transparent about what gets taught. So we will continue to be so.
Can we put this link on our website at some point after we have a handle on it and
Yeah.
stuff?
Well, this is what it is, so we can certainly put that out there.
Okay.
Through the
I think
chair,
that's
I
a
think
great
it's
idea.
important that parents know this is coming down the pipeline. I've heard conversations about it, but I think that we give them the opportunity to opt out. We, make it public now. You can opt out of this and you have that option. So if you're not comfortable with your child in this class, then they have the opt-out option. And I think it's important.
Yeah, just to be clear, the opt-out would be around certain sensitive
Yes,
topics.
of course.
Right, it wouldn't be out of necessarily a whole class.
Yeah, because you still should know how to wear deodorant.
Yeah.
That is important in the middle school.
Well, and I think the mental health piece, we're going to involve our guidance counselors in looking at this as
Good
well as our health and PE
I was
teachers.
just going to say a lot of it is focused around PE. So
Yeah.
really how to incorporate PE with mental health and fitness and food and everything. So it all kind of comes together.
It does.
I was able to skim parts of it too, and I really liked that they're talking a lot about boundaries and respectful behaviors and social media literacy and that piece. I think that's important, especially in this day and age, for kids to understand you can establish a boundary with someone. So I think there was a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah, I agree.
Great. So we don't need to motion that or anything. That's
No,
just
we will come back to it, just to give everybody some time to take a look at it. We will post it, and we're also in the process again of reviewing it internally. So at that point, we may have additional information as well. So
great. Awesome.
Okay, so as we started last year, we had started going through our policy book, knowing that some things had gone out of date. And so this time it is Section D, which has a lot of policies related to fiscal management, budgeting, grants, purchasing, that type of thing. So you will see that this time in your packet, the top copy is the old, the red copy is the new of the new policy. This is the first reading. As you know, I think for this batch, we're going to need the 3 reads, where sometimes we don't, to really have a chance to review all of this. What I will say is you'll find here that we do have some policies that are out of date, but our practices are not. We work very closely with the town. Cecilia's in touch, works through MASBO and with her other directors to make sure that things are kept current as far as practices go. So again, while a policy may be out of date, it does not mean that our practice is.
Yeah, I would encourage everyone to really read through those closely. Try and soak up as much information as you can. And is this all transparent information? Like it's out there where people can look and see what grants, how they're spent? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So Cecilia does reports, it's through this body.
Right, yeah.
That's reported.
Okay,
Yes.
so they would have to go into the packet and look at your documents and stuff to see. Okay.
Yeah, because
Just
all of
making
that
sure
gets
they're out there.
posted.
Okay,
Yep.
great, perfect.
We also report out at budget time, right? So all of our offsets are typically related either to revolving accounts or grant funding. And that's all clearly laid out too with where that money comes from. It's cited right in the budget with where our offsets go.
Okay, great.
And earlier this year, I did provide through the chair, I did provide a listing of all of our revolving and special funds
Yep.
as well as, student activities, so.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. School committee, this is part of our job, so.
Yeah, this is
sure.
a big part.
It's a big part.
Yep.
All right.
All right, the next item in your packet has to do, we do this every year, our October 1st enrollment. You will see that from last year to this year, we are down 61 students. We had very small incoming kindergarten classes at both Packagug and Bryn Mawr this year compared to what we normally have. Grade 3 at Swanson is on the small side, and grade 6 at the middle school. That was part of the information that we used to determine an increase in school choice students last spring, if you recall that. We knew that incoming class was going to be on the small side. So since 2018, which was the height of our enrollment, we're down about 128 students. I did speak with Mr. Kazanovich related to the housing developments that are slated in town. So the one is off Tinker Hill. They have started their first phase.
Okay.
So, but he still thinks we're at least a year and a half out before we start to see any kind of influx into our schools. But then after that, I think it's slated for 4 phases. And Perry Place, he didn't have an update on, so yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with Perry
That's
Place.
gone to the state.
Yeah, so there's something about that. But the one up on Tinker Hill is certainly the larger one. So we will at some point see that. I will also, as we do each year, I filled out the information to send to NESDEC. They do an enrollment analysis for us each year. We should have that in the next, 6 to 8 weeks by the time they get that back to us. So we can take another lens through that lens as they do their projections.
Okay, good. All right, so we have some wiggle room, looks like,
do.
so far. Right? Yeah.
We do, and that's not a bad thing
No,
for our
not at
class sizes and
Yep.
that kind of thing.
And personal space and everything else, so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, any questions or comments concerning? No? Okay.
I did want to share this evening, so parent-teacher conferences. So we had, in the calendar, we had scheduled November 9th as a half-day for families. That's the day before the Veterans Day holiday on Friday. And we've typically have had conferences in the afternoon and then in the evening. There was some concern by teachers and administration that Thursday night may not be well attended because you're heading into the long weekend starting on Friday. And so in collaboration with the AEA, we talked about we're doing the evening on Wednesday, November 8th from 5 to 7. And then the afternoon will still take place differing times at middle and high school and elementary, but for 2 hours in the afternoon on that Thursday, hoping that we get a good amount of people to come. So same amount of time, it's just we spread it out a little bit differently, thinking that people may want to get away for that long weekend on Thursday.
Yeah, that's probably good thinking. Do we need a motion for that, or is that?
I don't think so, because I mean, we typically just schedule that
Yeah,
as we
okay.
do anyway, so.
All right.
And then one of the last things. So we have 2 donation letters in your packet, one from Carl Stores and one from Shaw's Supermarket. We continue to be thankful for the generous support of our community. Carl Stores, I came in, I had 2 enormous bags of school supplies, backpacks, all kinds of stuff, enormous bags. And then there is I have to get more information on, but through Shaw's, sometimes you get a give back from Shaw's, so we got $12 from them, so. we'll put that in
Every
the
dollar
account.
counts.
Every dollar
Thank
counts.
you.
Yep.
Yes.
So those you
Great.
do have to accept.
Okay.
The donations.
Seek a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept with gratitude the school supplies donated by Carl Storrs, as well as the monetary funds received from Shaw's Supermarket for their Give Back Where It Counts program.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye. And then I just wanted to give the committee an update that in the coming weeks, I'm going to be meeting with Town Youth Sports Organization to review the use of facilities currently in place. It's become increasingly difficult to manage the use of the high school and middle school facilities as more and more groups look to use those fields. And it's starting to have a negative impact on our own high school and middle school teams. So I just wanted to put that on the plate, that this is going to be investigated with how we can work this out. I'm also going to be reaching out to the town for the times that they use our fields. There's still a number of fields in town that used to get used but don't get used anymore because we have really beautiful fields at our high school, which is really great. They're beautiful fields. But we have to spread the usage out, because what we're finding is that, number one, it's becoming a full-time job just to schedule the usage. And we don't have a full-time person to do that. This is through our athletic department at Auburn High School, and at the middle school, it's the secretary that's there. It gets overwhelming. People will put in time, then they change the time, then they want the time back, then they don't want the time, then they put in all this time that nobody else can use, and then they don't use it, and then they don't want to pay because we got a site manager. It's just become a bit of a beast. And so we have to look at the whole thing. We had revised the pay structure last spring, and we may have to look at that again, and maybe really limit anybody from not using it, and even looking at a small fee for our local teams. It's my understanding that even some of our, little league teams they have sponsors, they get a good amount of money from the parents to play. And if they can't play here and they have to play someplace else, they pay. But when they use our fields, they don't pay. And it's all about the maintenance. We want to keep our facilities as beautiful as they are. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt we just have to come to some kind of a consensus about what fields they should be using. And if they do use our fields, particularly at the high school with the turf fields, like those almost require more maintenance than cutting the grass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To keep them in really good shape. And when they're so heavily used, we just have to find a way through it. It's a bit of a bear. But Heidi Tatum, the athletic director, Kara Allison, Cecilia, Jay Cruz over at the middle school, we're all working together. Joe Fahey, because he's been instrumental in this. Folks calling at the last minute, well, we're going to use this field. We need the lights. Well, no, we can't. We don't. We're not running a facility for outside usage. We're running a school district that we can let you use our facility sometime. And that balance has changed a little bit. So I just wanted to put it on your plate that we are going to investigate this and see what we can do. And obviously, anything we find or suggest will come before the committee.
The chair, is it more the fields outside, or are we thinking like the gym?
So the gym is a challenge too.
Okay.
So like during basketball season, there are some groups that then want to run like adult leagues after the game. Well, then they're there till 10 o'clock at night. Well, then we need a site manager. Well, that's going to be hard for us to get till 10 o'clock at night. And then the custodians turning those places around to be used in the morning because we have school the next day. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Have
lot.
we ever compared our prices to Pappas Field? Do we know what their rental fees are?
So Cheryl was talking. Cheryl Moran has also been instrumental in this. Yeah. And we were talking about that, and that's something I want to meet with Kristen Pappas about this
Yeah, I
as
just
well.
wonder where we stack up to them, and if they're charging more, then we should be charging more.
And Lemansky is, they can use, but nobody wants to use
Right.
Lemansky.
And our fields are the envy of surrounding districts. I watched a school committee meeting the other night that they were saying, well, Auburn has great fields, and I'll just ask them to go over there.
Yeah.
And, so I agree.
Even some things that we go into with other districts, right? So we'll have clinics or whatever that will go in with other districts. We'll move it around to each school, right? So we only get it once every 8 years. Right?
True.
But everybody wants to have it at Auburn because our facilities are beautiful. It's just the maintenance. That's the thing. It's not that I mind anybody using them, but we have to have that resource to take good care of them. So
Well, it's the maintenance
Absolutely.
and paying the staff to
And the
stay there
staff,
and
absolutely.
requesting them to stay till 10 at night, which is insane.
Yeah.
So,
And through the chair, I'm guessing by the amount of little turf pebbles around my house right now, those have to be re-turfed.
Yes,
That
they do.
can't be cheap.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's a regular maintenance that
Yeah.
has to be done.
So
and
that's
it's
really
costly.
probably, yeah, increasing if you, the more you use it, the, yep.
And through the chair, it's respect for facilities too. Like sometimes during basketball, I see these kids tropesing in with like wet shoes and they just leave them there. And I'm like, oh, that's a gym floor. That's going to cause some damage. So, you know, so I feel for those custodians and gym teachers who are like, no wet shoes, no food in the stands. And people aren't respecting of that.
Yeah. And the bigger the crowds, the more support you need.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, you could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And we just don't have a facility coordinator.
Right, yeah.
So we have to, and I don't think we should have one. That's not our job, right? That's not our primary function. It's to
Mandy, you
support
have
our
lots
kids.
of time on your hands.
That's one, Mandy.
Yeah.
Get working on that, Mandy.
Yeah.
Through the chair,
those
she has
days.
3 kids using the facilities, so I mean,
Yeah.
she's already there.
Step up.
Yeah.
Just add it to my plate.
Yeah, you're already
I
there.
think it's a good idea. Definitely worth looking into.
Through
Can
the
you
chair.
update us? Sorry, Brooke.
No, that's okay.
Can you update us down the road too?
I will. As soon as I have some of the meetings, and I'll look at the PAPIS pricing and,
Curious.
but there are some places that, you know, some of the teams are playing on our fields for free, but then they're going to some indoor places and they're paying $120 an hour. And there's money for that because, you know, when my kids were little, they paid $20 and they played soccer. Well, you don't pay $20 anymore.
Not anymore.
No, you do not.
Those are very expensive.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So, yes, I certainly will keep you updated.
I was just going to make a comment through the chair that we are very lucky to have the facilities we do. And I don't think people realize what has to be done to maintain them. And I am actually glad you're bringing this up tonight because it brings to light what needs to be done. And it's not like we want to go charging money, but you love these facilities. We need to take care of them.
Yep.
And the taxpayers paid a lot to
Correct.
give us these facilities.
Correct.
So it's important that we respect that too.
Absolutely.
And that's why, you know, for our town teams, I want to be respectful, but with the level of usage, we have to find a balance. We just have to find a balance.
So right now, through the chair, do they pay to use our facilities? Yeah.
No, and I'm not looking for a lot. But I think they have to pay something,
Agreed.
especially when they're taking in that money. They all have sponsors, you know, that help with the team, which is amazing. But again, they come to us more and more because of that. So we're gonna figure out a way around that.
Okay. Rah, rah.
Yeah. Strawberry sunshine. All right, and then I just, you know, just for information, I put in the, once a month, I'm gonna put in the agenda of events that are coming up, so those are listed for you to review, and, that's the end of my report for this evening.
Through the chair, I just have one question. What are pack pictures? Not on the list.
They're in November. I think it's
November,
the first
got it.
Friday of November.
Okay.
Don't quote me. But it's November.
You have time. To plan.
Yes, I know, we have time. Good, sorry. That was a personal.
I appreciate you though.
I saw our middle pictures and I was like, or Bryn Mawr, and then I saw one other and I'm like, when are our pictures?
I think through the chair, they're in the district calendar because they're popping up on mine and I'm like, I don't have a, okay, it's district, so it'll pop right up.
All right. Great. Oh, I love this. The Pack Spirit Day for breast cancer. That's great. Is Bryn Mawr doing that as well? Or- Okay.
Now they are.
Yeah.
It's just something we have done every October. It's fun.
Yeah. All right. Great.
I like to do a lot of color days and spirit days.
Well, the kids love it. It gets them into it, and it's for a great cause. So.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, we'll turn it over to Mr. Keller for the teaching and learning report.
Yes, and I know it's everybody's one of everybody's favorite presentation. I think it ranked high on last year's survey. It's first look at MCAS. So tonight is really just designed to give you that first general overview. So we districts received MCAS scores, official MCAS scores on September 14th. Public data was released on September 19th, and then October 1st is when parent reports were sent to the district. So just today, we got those, the parent reports to the schools. Schools are now working on getting those in envelopes and postage on them, so those will be going out next Friday. and be sent home to parents. So we have just begun digging into our own data. So tonight, like I said, like last year, that initial conversation, we're just going to be talking about MCAS data at the state level. And then on our next meeting, November 1st, is when I will be sharing a deep dive into, not too deep, but we can go as deep as you want.
Keep
but
it light.
into the Auburn data. So just as a reminder, kind of like the path we've been on for the past 5 years when it comes to MCAS. So 2019 was pre-COVID, and so there were full tests in all grade levels, 3 through 8, and then 10. Yeah. And then we had our 2 years that were impacted by COVID. And so now, or last year in 2023 was the second consecutive year of full tests. The state established targets for each school, each district, and each student group. Mm-hmm. And so they provide those to districts. And unfortunately last year, because of a lot of conversation at the state level, we didn't get those until about March. So obviously well into the school year before we actually got our targets. But essentially those targets for each school district and student group have us on a 4-year trajectory to get back to where we were in 2019. So when I talk to you at our next school committee meeting on how we did as a school district and as at each school, we'll be looking at how we performed to with those measures to get back on that track to 2019 over the course of 4 consecutive years, if that makes sense. So in statewide summary, so the 2023 results in math and ELA showed level or improvement in all grades compared to 2022. Again, it's not back to 2019 level, but we are showing as a state continued academic improvement in recovering those learning losses. So just a reminder that we're only looking at Massachusetts here. This is not Auburn data, but if you look at statewide trends in ELA, that first column, or the second column rather, is 2019. And when I say ME, I'm talking those that are meeting and exceeding the standards. And so in 2019, 52% of our 3rd through 8th grade students at the state level were meeting or exceeding. And you can see in 2022, 41%, and then this past year, 42%. So as I mentioned earlier, we have increased from 2022 as a state. We're still nowhere near where we need to be to get back to 2019 levels. And so that far right column represents 10 percentage points from where we were in 2019. And then you'll see there in grade 10, where no improvement compared to last year, and still 3 percentage points different at grade 10, comparing 2019 to 2023. All right, and again, same view, looking at Massachusetts as a whole and where we were in math. We're still 8 percentage points off from getting back to where we were in 2019, and 9 percentage points in for grade 10. Mm-hmm. And a 2 percentage point increase to 2022. Oh my God, I can't speak. 2023 to 2022, and no change at the 10th grade level, comparing 22 to 23. And then the last piece of data that I have for you shows statewide trends in science. And so there was a decline in both 5th grade and 8th grade in 2023 compared to 2022, and no change at the high school level. And then we can't compare 2023 to 2019 because 2022 was the first administration of next generation science at the high school, the new standards.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of work to be done to get back to those 2019 levels. The state recognized this, and so that's why they set these kind of 4-year goals for each district to, over the course of those 4 years, to get to 2019 levels. But I wanted to give you that kind of initial look. So I've met with principals and assistant principals at each of the schools so far. And then have a second meeting set up where we're doing a deeper dive into some of the data. So we just did kind of at surface level, what does some of the data show us? And then we're going to be working with each department and recognizing successes where we did well, because it's important to make sure that we acknowledge what we did well and celebrate that and look to replicate that, and then also look at those areas for improvement. And then begin to dig down into where do we need to go next, and what kind of things can we do in developing district and building level action plans for each school, and then each department.
Okay, great. Any questions or comments?
Through the chair, I think we kind of pretty much expected this. I mean, we knew we weren't going to be at 2019 numbers. We knew it would take a few years to get to that point. So I'm not shocked by anything that we're seeing.
Through the chair, this is like basically the COVID. This is all like from what we're dealing with COVID, with the kids doing the remote learning at a very transitional young age. And then, okay.
Yeah, and so around that.
Oh, so it's not terrible. Okay.
I mean, so along that line, one of the things that we've talked about at the state level, and the state talks about, is the current third grade will be the first group that entered school with COVID.
Right.
They entered school, so they would have been as kindergartners when COVID was happening. So it's something that we need to pay attention to, and it will be interesting to look at the data when they take the MCAS.
I was looking at the 8th graders because they're the ones that are learning the most in being in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. I mean, that's a lot of very like dynamic learning that you're going through,
Right.
So
I'm through the chair. I'm very interested actually to see the current second grade numbers when they move up, because they're the first group that have been in school full time, and I think we're going to see like huge jumps, because I'm just watching my two and my daughter who is in 5th, and she seeing her limitations, and I teach 6th grade, so I see those limitations, and then mine in 2nd, and I'm like, whoa, like that was. I think it's really going to affect that generation of kids big time. So I think we have to be a little more like, we have to be lenient with the scores for that group of kids moving up that sectioning, because I think they are making gains, and they're working hard. So I think it's important to give the teachers a little, you guys are doing a good job.
You just have to remember too that this is one data point, right? We have
Yeah.
And so obviously this is something that we're held accountable to for the state of Massachusetts, and so we need to pay attention to it. But it is a moment in time. It's a day that a student took an assessment, one day. So we have to think about it that way too. But beyond all of this, we're working hard really in every school building to build a really good cycle about looking at data, looking at kids' results along the way. So not just this one moment, to see what they need and how to help them move forward. So
I think we're doing a great job. I really do. I'm
through the chair, absolutely 100%. Like I've seen a change just in the 1 year we've been back with, family members and friends where their kids were in this, and now you just see them. I mean, they're so adaptive, so I'm very excited to look forward to the improvement. I think it's going to shock us all, truthfully. I hope,
All right. Were you all done?
I'm all done.
All right. Sorry, I feel like I cut you off already, but.
It's next time that's going to be the long one.
Yes. Now, I think, like you guys all said, it's not all kids are good at testing. And I have the 8th grader that had COVID through those formative years. And I have to say, they are pulling her right up by her bootstraps, and she's off and running. So, I mean, it's impressive. And they are little sponges, and they are resilient little creatures.
Absolutely.
But the schools are doing the best they can. I truly believe our staff is amazing, and and I think we're going to be on top of this all along. So we have Mr. Keller to blame if he doesn't. I'm kidding. Poor guy. Yeah, I know. Sorry. All right. Well, on that note, we will turn it over to Cecilia.
Hard act to follow, Alan, right? So, good evening, everyone. In your packet, I have a year-to-date budget report dated September 27th for your review. In addition with that, I have budget transfers between series and between the same series and different series that I'm seeking your approval. And I'd be happy to answer any questions on either the report or the transfers, if there are any.
Are there any questions? I couldn't believe it when you were asked to provide for 2029. Like, okay. That's crazy. But, no, it all looks good, I think.
All right. So I just entertain a motion, I guess, for the just approval of the transfers, if everybody's good with it.
I'll make a motion to approve the list of transfers dated September 27, 2023, as presented by the business manager.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. So as you alluded to, Jesse.
Oh, sorry, I stole your, that's all right.
So, Town Manager Casanovas has requested submission of capital improvement budgets from all of the departments of the town, and the school department being one of those departments. They were looking for us to project. We usually try to keep a 5-year CIP plan going for the whole entire town. So they've asked us to put together a listing. So Joe Fahey and I met, and in speaking with the superintendent as well, we put together a listing of some needs after meeting with the principals and talking about what building needs there are. We put together some capital needs for fiscal year 2029. And then we also looked at, as we put our 5-year plans together back a few years ago, we put together a plan for 2025. In reviewing the 2025 plan, we saw that everything still looks like that we need to continue. I did make a couple adjustments. We crossed out the HVAC at the Tube Gymnasiums for Swanson Road because the projects have been completed already. So with that $100, we were able to look at potentially moving, or we want to seek your approval to move it down to window replacements and building upgrades at central office, because as you know, we haven't really done a lot of work here at the central office in a couple of years, or we've been putting it up. We've been in a holding pattern as far as repairing, trying to decide what was going to happen with the building. But we feel that these are needs that need to take place. So we were looking to do that in 2025. So if you can take a look, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything that you may have.
Okay, Alan, did you put in for those new windows?
I don't see any air conditioner.
Christmas gift from the committee, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Any questions or comments? No, looks good. All right, seek a motion to approve.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the capital improvement budgets for FY 2029 and FY 2025 as presented by the business manager.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And that's my report for tonight.
Okay, short and sweet.
Yes.
Do we need executive session tonight?
We do not, Madam Chair.
All right, seek a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, hold on, reverse.
October 18th meeting.
Oh, geez, yeah.
I have to cancel the meeting due to a personal commitment.
October 18th
October 18th, which would be our next meeting. Sorry about that.
is canceled.
All
Okay.
right, so we need a motion for that, I assume?
Yeah, we would, yeah.
I'll make a motion to cancel October 18th's meeting.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, here's a vote.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay,
Now make a motion to adjourn?
yes.
I make motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good night, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.